Hi, Karen Carreras Hubbard here, Coordinator of Library Services. I want to give you an overview of this class. Welcome to the Information Literacy Self-Guided course. I'm so glad that the first place that you'll probably be going is the Getting Started. And down here, you have actually probably gotten here because you're looking at the how to navigate this class. There is a syllabus, and then tell me about yourself, which I do expect you to tell me something about yourself, and then a pre-course survey, just so I kind of know what your expectations are. This is highly interactive in that I will be commenting, and I will be part of your experience on this as well. Let me just move to the next one here. Why is research important? So anyways, there's a number of exercises, there's forums, and one of the projects that you will find throughout most of the modules is what we call the Glossary Project. When you're beginning research, oftentimes you will find in the syllabus terminology that you may not be real familiar with. I think we have our own library speak or academia speak. For instance, your professor may ask you to write a paper 5 pages long with 3 peer-reviewed resources. So what the heck is peer-reviewed? Or you need to have primary sources. They may use the term periodical or serials, which is not something you eat for breakfast, but actually is magazines, newspapers, journals. So defining those terms, it's really helpful to have done that in advance or have some idea of what the language that's being used, what it means. So what we have done is we've constructed a glossary, and it's off of the college's website. I will have a link. You'll see the link to go there so you can familiarize yourself with some of the terms. And then the project that you do throughout this entire class is to contribute to a group glossary with other students. So you'll be interacting with other students, we hope, and saying in your own words what you believe some of these terms mean. And I will interact with you. You will, if something is way off, I'll let you know and help you along on that. But it's really important in order to understand the subject, to understand the language of that subject. So, and since this is the subject of research, then it's important to have a handle on the language of research. So that's the first thing. The second thing, as you begins with, why do I have to write this paper? So that's probably something you ask yourself in the beginning of a class. And what if you have to pick your own topic? And how do you narrow a topic? And oh my gosh, do I use Google or what the heck's a database? I explain all that here. There are videos. The way I've organized the entire class is you'll see resources on the top, and then you'll see actual activities underneath that. And sometimes there's some other tools or other module exercises, let's say. So usually, though, the resources kind of will explain everything that you'll be doing in the learning activities. Why the language of research is important. So that's a little book that you can read, and there's a video and orientation of online resources at the Jonathan Edwards Library, just so you know what it is that we have. And then you'll have the interactive exercises, a tutorial to contribute to that glossary, a tutorial of why information matters, and then a quiz. But again, don't worry, this is not high stakes. This is a pass-fail class. There is no grade point average. Nothing affects your grades, your GPA, or anything like that. If anything, I think you'd have to work at not getting through it. It's a pass or fail, and basically it's just by doing the actual exercises that you're able to proceed along. At the very end, you will get a nifty certificate, which you could give to your teacher, or it's suitable for framing. Anyways, so and then there's some reflection where I want to know how you're doing and how you feel about the subject. The third module deals with inquiry. Inquiry is the process of what research is all about. And it's very repetitive because you'll find yourself, you go 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. You may find yourself looking at databases and then going back and looking at for e-books, electronic books, and then revisiting some of those articles you found in the database. Maybe something isn't quite right. You've changed your mind a little bit about. You're going to perhaps narrow your focus and tweak your thesis a little bit, and these are all terms that you may or may not know, but you will learn about in the glossary. So again, resources right on the top, videos, how to narrow your topic, and then underneath, learning activities, and perhaps a quiz perhaps at the end. Usually you'll see that contribute to the group glossary as well. There's only one module where you don't do that, and I think that is the strategy one. Why use a strategy? Because there's quite a bit to do with that, and I didn't want to load too much on you. So successful research always involves a strategy. You don't want to waste time looking for articles, and there are ways to do this economically, and hopefully these modules are going to teach you how to do that. Also, knowing what type of materials you are searching for. So there is a video that explains the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources, because that may be part of your assignment. Peer-reviewed, what does that mean? Again, your teacher will probably ask you for peer-reviewed articles. Specific resources, searching and researching. And then selective resources that we have just here at Berkshire Community College, such as some of our databases. Academic Search Premier is one that we go into. Films on Demand, our streaming videos. And then we have over 175,000 books online, so you don't have to go to the library and physically pick up a book, especially, I don't know when you'll be watching this, but if it's during the COVID epidemic, then you probably don't want to be driving, into Pittsfield and going to the library. You might want to instead do it from home, from the safety of your home, and looking for books there. And as I just said, we have actually far more electronic books than we do have print books in our library. So this particular module will explain the different resources, and then there are some optional science databases you might want to look into if you are a STEM person or a science person, and then the learning activities, quiz, and a reflection piece. And so hopefully you'll find that useful. The last one is scholarship as a conversation. And this is important because as a researcher yourself, you're standing on the shoulders of everybody else who's done research, because you're going to be looking at people's articles. And those people used other people's articles and books to write their articles. And so in a way, it becomes this big pyramid of sorts. And you are on the top of that pyramid. But as you write your work, others, if you have the opportunity to publish whatever you write, might be using your sources as well. And don't dismiss that. We have a couple of classes that students have written papers that have wound up being published. So you may be one of those, and that's pretty exciting. We also have an event here on campus, a scholarship event or scholars event where students do present their papers. And so again, they're part of that conversation of scholarship. So this particular area of scholarship as a conversation also talks about citations. And actually, when I'm showing you this, I haven't completed it yet, so that's why there aren't a lot of modules underneath here yet. But it's going to tell you how do you cite your sources. I'm going to guess that most, if not all of your classes will require that you use a citation format. It's going to explain that. It's going to give you exercises so that you will master that. And so that when it comes time for you to write your paper, you'll do a really wonderful job on it. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. As I mentioned, this is just an overview of what this class is going to look like, and I am going to be involved with it and with you throughout the entire thing. You can also contact me, and not just through the forums, but also if you wanted to email me, or if you need to Zoom, I'd be happy to work with you. Okay, thanks so much, and good luck with this.